Looking forward to this one. First of our titles tonight. And the winner with the right to push on and put their name in the mix with the champions
Seconds out,
domestically
round 1.
and across the Commonwealth. Mykey Lee Broughton in the All Black. He's got good skills. He looks like he could be a good matchup tonight alongside Ghena. He's probably got a bit more experience. But this one finely balanced, I think, Andy. Very much up for grabs.
It's got that look about it. Ghena, as you say, I think of the two has been in a bit deeper. So he's got that on his side, but this has got all the makings of a good fight. And there's plenty on the line here too in terms of titles and future prospects.
And certainly Broughton looks switched on early doors. Feet work sharp. He landed a lovely left hook to the body in an exchange there previously, and he's whipped himself into magnificent shape as well. The truth is, his 13 victories have all come against relative journeymen and losing records. The one time he stepped up, he did lose an area title fight. It was a fight it seemed like he was winning. Some body shots landed and then a slightly curious ending back in 2023 when body shots were landed, he was sick, and the ringside physicians decided that he couldn't continue. So slightly controversial ending to that one. He and his team feeling that they will put that wrong right tonight. Well, through the first couple of minutes, Ghena maybe not quite able to close the gap. He's certainly not able to get his shots off, and he's being kept on a long leash at the moment by Mykey Lee Broughton.
He's pretty circumspect so far, Ghena, as you say. He's not really let anything go. He's just trying to creep in with that front foot and taking a bit too long, but there'll be a method behind that. Broughton is just firing off the odd jab, the odd combination, nothing much to write home about, and I don't think much of it's getting through particularly clean, but his hands have been slightly the busier of the two. Look at the size of the back there on Ghena as he's right in front of us. These two both have chiseled themselves into tremendous nick. 30 seconds to go though, and you'd say Broughton's winning this round so far without having done an awful lot. Nice double jab there from Ghena, and a strong finish from him could turn this his way.
And so the final 20 seconds then. You know, always had the look of a purist boxing match, this. Ghena trying to shake off a little of the tightness. Maybe landed a shot there. He's starting to find his mojo a little as this one's gone on. Enjoying himself as the round progressed, Ghena, but whether it was enough to win him it is another thing entirely.
He just got caught by left hand himself right at the end there, slightly off balance, as he was looking to try and throw right hand, I think. So just a little bit of a getting to know you process in that opening 3 minutes. This one's scheduled for 10.
And I said, Andy, it's quite a congested scenario at 140 pounds. You've got Jack Rafferty, who is the hard-punching powerhouse British champion. He is going to be up against Kay Prosper, I think, shortly for that title. You have Bradley Townsend, who beat Billy Ellington just the other day as well. So he's kind of won an eliminator. This is supposed to be another eliminator. So they're queuing up behind Rafferty. There's lots of good fights that could be made theoretically.
There are, and Rafferty's good to watch, isn't he? And he's nice and busy. You know, that's what I really like about him. He's got that title and he's making it work for him, and that's what you want to see people do, and these two are just eyeing that up. That's what it's all about, and there's a WBO European on the line here tonight too, and with that may come a top 15 ranking, equally may not, but you would certainly get yourself on their radar.
It looks like Mykey Lee Broughton has just switched up the intensity and conceding a little less ground at the start of this round. These are the fights that you really feel it ringside. And you know how much they want it. You know how much belief they've got. You know how much effort they've put into conditioning themselves, hardening themselves for the moment. And you know how much is on the line. And these are the fights that really get you ringside.
Taking his feet in there, Broughton, let the 1-2 go, but Ghena got that guard up, and that's how he does it. Again, he's just creeping in with that front foot. He's taking that space away from Broughton. He's keeping that guard high. He's making Broughton work here, throws a combination himself. He's a pressure fighter without throwing bundles and bundles of punches.
A nice little left hook there from Ghena, just missed with a sharp 1-2. Certainly the busier of the two, Broughton, no doubt about it. Not all of those shots are landing, but you fancy that they will be the shots that are catching the eye.
Bit of flamboyance there from Ghena. A touch of fancy footwork. Some would call it showboating, but he's full of confidence, that's for sure.
Yeah, whether he has a right to be is another thing entirely, isn't it? But landed a nice jab. His little cameos, really eye-catching shots here and there. I suppose half the battle is if you feel in control of yourself, then maybe you feel you're in control of the fight, but I'd venture to suggest no one's in control of this one yet.
That's a nice combination on the inside there from Broughton, finished on a left hand, which I don't think got through absolutely clean, but a piece of it made it.
And you'd have thought the way that Broughton's area title fight ended, his defeat, you'd have thought that certainly Ghena's tactics might include an attack to the body at some stage, or a sustained policy. Nice right hand. Maybe the champion is just starting to warm up. Now, if these rounds continue like they're going, Andy, we're going to have an argument.
You just feel like this is going to catch fire fairly soon, because Ghena so far is full of that kind of latent threat, isn't he? He seems ready to explode at any second, but he hasn't quite done it yet. There's quite a lot of posturing, but he hasn't quite hit that ignition in those opening couple of rounds, and there's plenty of time. Broughton has been given space and time to work, and he's taken it for the most part. He could well have won those first 2 rounds, but he has been made to do some work. I think just needs to just click into action a little bit more in this 3rd round, because you can't let too many rounds float by.
Nicely poised as we move into the 3rd. Again, Broughton off to a fast start. There is a long way to go, but again at the start of this one, Ghena not letting his hands go. He's pressing, but he is being outworked. Oh, nice left hook to the body. Little motion to his corner there, I thought, Ghena. He's certainly brimming with confidence. Again, just missed with that right hand, Andy.
He sat down on that one, didn't he? He turned it over, as they say, and as you say, he is full of confidence, and he's beginning to let his hands go a bit more now, and he does need to do this, because sometimes you'll see a fighter who believes that they're almost always on the brink of something big, and whilst that's not happening, the other one is outworking them and winning rounds. We've seen it time and time again, and he's got to make sure that doesn't happen, but he is busier in this 3rd round, just short there with an uppercut, but Broughton has picked up the pace in this round as well.
He is closing the gap bit by bit, incrementally. Here, Ghena. Nice right hand round the guard there from Broughton on the back foot. Ghena's fighting like a guy who thinks he's going to get there.
He is, and that kind of belief is fairly unmistakable when you see it up there.
And whether that's part of the tactics, whether he feels the weight of the shots, he certainly looks the stronger guy in there, doesn't he, Ghena? Maybe thinks that's going to come to bear. Meanwhile, though, points are being scored, rounds are flying by.
And if you're fighting this kind of fight that Ghena's fighting, you need to make your opponent work hard. If you're not going to go for it flat out from the off, and maybe you're thinking that you could be down at halfway, but you're really coming to it in the second half, and that it is a matter of time, you want to take as much out of their tank in the first half as you can. And I feel in this round there's signs of that, because Broughton's having to work hard here, isn't he? Ghena's on top of him all the time. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's exactly what I was thinking. You wouldn't go as far as to say that Broughton is busting a gut, but he's maybe just having to work at a pace that's a little less comfortable than ideal. Again, close round, difficult to score. Just the sense that maybe Ghena's plan or his feeling is starting to work for him, just. Here we see some of the action, looking up on the balcony. Always great to see the packed balcony above the ring here at York Hall. Just such a unique venue and atmosphere. Such an unusual opportunity for sports fans.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 4.
Into the fourth round then. Nice stabbing jab on the move from Broughton.
Double jab right hand there from Ghena. And again, he's looked to try and start this round quick.
Yeah, he's looked for that 1-2 a couple of times. He's not quite been able to clock it. Fast hands in retaliation from Mykey Lee Broughton, again getting off first. Bit of tit for tat through the first minute.
That's good commitment there from Broughton as well. Just got his feet in really nice and tight there and banged to the body hard. And because he was where he was, he got the impact. This is warming up really nicely.
It is. Just maybe Ghena's a bit more efficient so far. You're thinking of the gas tank and energy levels as the fight progresses. Mykey Lee Broughton's mouth just opening a little. He's the one who's on the back foot.
He's picking some good shots in this round though, Broughton.
He is, he's the busier. Both sets of fans getting into it. And now it's Broughton who manages to get on the front foot. A couple of stabbing right hands to the body for him. He's having a good period here. And now back comes Ghena. Wicked right hook round the temple, round the guard a couple of times, and then he's on the back foot again. And switching one way and t'other, exactly as we hoped.
He's taking too long there, Ghena, isn't he? That's a good example. He's just creeping in. Broughton's giving that ground. He's not being pushed back necessarily, but he's giving the ground. And Ghena needed to make a move there, as he does in the corner that time.
Oh, he just missed again with the right hand. There was a good flicking left hook to the body in that exchange as well from Ghena. Mykey Lee Broughton with his back against his own corner. And this round has gone one way and another. They've asked some really searching questions of each other.
It's a good round, wasn't it?
It was a good round. Did Mykey Lee Broughton just do a little more? Corner men are going to have to earn their corn tonight, aren't they? You can see there's a few important messages to be read before this one's out.
There was some good work from both of them in that round. Not an easy round to score. There's been some close rounds. I would say through 4 that Broughton would be ahead. But that's not going to be a massive concern for Ghena, because as we've been saying, the way he's set up in this fight, it's like he believes that his time is coming, that clock is ticking. You've just got to make sure you do the right things, that you keep that clock ticking. And Broughton in that previous round, when he was allowed to, and that's been the case all the way through the fight, when he's been allowed to, and Ghena has conceded some space and time to him, he's absolutely making the most of it.
Nice left hand to the body again. He looks for the same kind of delivery. Ghena trying to up his work rate and his busyness. I think he has to do that now as we approach halfway.
I think he needs a substantial round here, Ghena, because Broughton could be 4-0 up here. That's not impossible.
No, it's not. Oh, lovely left hook to the body. He really picked that shot perfectly, but Broughton comes firing back. And it is a sustained body attack, favouring the left side so far. Easier to throw that shot as an orthodox fighter, but certainly a sustained policy of attack to the body, and you can understand why they do that. Both looking to land the right hand at the same time. A lovely pick shot there from Broughton. Ghena tries to shake it off, but he's on the back foot. A nice left hand to the body and follows it up now. This is a sustained period of success for Mykey Lee Broughton.
Heading towards the final minute of round 5, we're not far away from being midway through the contest. It's going to be very, very interesting in the second half, but Broughton is standing up to this well. He looks quite loose, he looks nice and relaxed, he's just letting those hands go. He's not really forcing anything, you wouldn't say. And at the halfway stage, if it keeps going like this, you would have him ahead, and I don't think an enormous amount will have been taken out of the tank. So Ghena's going to have to up things in the second half. Ideally, he would do it in the remaining 40 seconds here.
And if he can get on the front foot, as he has done in sustained spells throughout this 5th round, then that may well help the energy reserves as the fight goes on for Broughton. Well, he's answered everything that Ghena's thrown at him and asked of him in this round, Broughton. I think the Birmingham man's boxing out of his skin. Well, that team were brimming with confidence. Anthony Manning, who's in the corner there with Mykey Lee Broughton, they really fancied this. I think the bookies would have had Ghena as a favourite, but Mykey Lee Broughton was always a live one coming in here tonight, and he's showing it.
I think it'd only be fair that the bookies would see it like that, because Ghena, he's the one with the title, he's the one who's been in deeper, been in more championship contests, and as you mentioned, the one championship level contest that he has had Broughton, that area title fight, he lost it, and in honestly quite embarrassing circumstances for a professional fighter. It'll have taken a little bit of getting over that, to be honest, but he's boxed well here tonight. I've got him in a handy lead at halfway, and Ghena what Ghena cannot do is just count on the fact that Broughton is going to slow down. You have to take gas out of the tank, not just hope the other person runs out of gas. At this kind of level, that's not going to happen, is it?
Here we go then, past halfway, and now Ghena looking to come out immediately, upping the tempo.
And that's what he has to do. He needs a big round here. I said it in the previous round, but he absolutely needs a big round here now, Ghena. He's got to win this 6th round for me and take the momentum away, or try and shift that momentum, because Mykey Broughton has hit a little bit of a groove.
He's finding the right blend of tactics, Broughton, isn't he? So speed jab, boxing off the back foot, meeting far with far, being busy when he has to. He's getting all of that balance right so far, but he's on the back foot at the start of the 6th. Now Ghena had him with his back against the ropes and he just couldn't get a shot off. Again, back against the ropes, Ghena pressing, misses. That was better from Ghena, wasn't it? He's really sharp in defence there, got his feet moving and came back with a good counter.
He just stepped off there though, there was no need for him to step off there. He did some good work, stepped to his right, changed the angle, threw another combination and then just backed off. Given the way the fight's been going, in those situations, he's got to keep it on Mykey Broughton and see if he can cope with it.
And although he may feel the stronger, bigger fighter in there, Ghena, he has just the 3 stoppages in his 14 wins. So it's not looked so far that he can turn things around with one punch. Looking for the big right hand inside the final minute of this 6th round. Good jab there from Broughton. Again, it really is tit for tat.
That was a good left to the body from Ghena, wasn't it? Final 20 seconds or so of the round. Not much in this one. Good round though, plenty of good action.
And as the fight's gone on, in truth, Mykey Broughton's kind of pace and output and look hasn't really changed much throughout. We wondered if maybe the tank would run a little empty as it went on, but actually he's maintained that level. Just a little urgency, I sense, Andy, in that Ghena corner. Probably rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. We're both looking at it, aren't we? We're, what, 6-8 feet away from it, and they need to be telling him that, because through 6 rounds, the best I could do for him would be 4-2, I reckon. That'd be the absolute best I could do for him. So he's got to dominate the remainder of this fight, and he's got to put his foot to the floor, and he's got to work harder. That's quite simply what he has to do here.
4 more rounds left. And there's this English title fight currently in the possession of Yaser Ghena in the pink and white. First defence offered against Mykey Broughton, stepping up in class, but at the moment seemingly rising to the occasion. right hand from Ghena. I think Broughton just managed to ride that by turning away, deflecting some of the force of the shot. Fans of both fighters in full voice here. It's been a really good atmosphere tonight from all sorts of different areas of the world. Ghena's father, Syrian, his mother from Barcelona. Came over here as a young man with his dad working at the market for 30 quid a day just to provide for his family. A little bit of the Anthony Joshua about Ghena, the threat of prison sentence and a curfew looming over him that forced him to turn his life around and dedicate himself to boxing, and that's been his route to salvation and towards being a champion. He's going to have to find something on the balance of it, it seems, as we stand.
Chops down with the right hand there, Ghena. It's been actually quite cagey at times this seventh. For spells they've been right in front of each other, just about within range, and neither one's really wanted to go first, neither's really wanted to pull the trigger, just popping the jab up from the waist from distance there, Ghena. And it's Broughton really who's now got the centre of the ring, and it's Ghena who's looking to try and work around him and almost kind of pot shot from the outside, which is a slightly odd approach, but he's gone southpaw there. It's up for grabs this one, isn't it? As we head towards the final 30 seconds. They've thrown plenty, but not a lot has landed.
Very difficult to score. Change in tack from Ghena. Whether that's because he felt what he was doing wasn't working. He's certainly making Broughton miss. So that part of the equation is working.
It's really kind of fascinating because the first 6 rounds, Ghena, his shoelace had just come undone, but we've only got a few seconds remaining in the round. He's got that guard up and he's putting that front foot pressure on. He's creeping in, looking like he's about to let something big go at any second. And waiting a bit too long, really, wasn't he? But he had that kind of very rooted to the canvas style. Whereas in that round, he's up on his toes almost, isn't he? He's flying around the ring. He's using the outer clock face. He's looking to try and swoop in and pot shot with jabs from the outside. It's a complete change of tactics. I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest.
No. Well, in the build-up to this one, Mykey Lee Broughton said, our futures are on the line. One of us is going to push on. At the moment, is it Broughton who's the one who is going to push on? Certainly that round's almost impossible to score. There were a couple early in the first, I think maybe the second and third around then. Difficult to score, so you can see the angles for perhaps it to be slightly different than maybe we're seeing, but you fancy Ghena needs a big finish.
I would say so. 3 to go.
And certainly Ghena trying to be lighter of foot, fleeter of foot, mobile. Just clipped with the right hand and Broughton goes to work.
That was good from Broughton, just turning his man off the ropes and managing to find the target 2-3 times.
Changed the play. Nice jab there from Broughton too.
Good left hand into the body there from Ghena.
And clipped him with a little right hand on the move as well. He's certainly getting through with shots, Ghena.
And this change in style is working better for him. Rather than being the really kind of proactive fighter, the one who's coming forward, okay, he wasn't really letting his hands go, but for Broughton, maybe that was quite easy to read. He could settle into a rhythm because he knew what Ghena was going to do, and because he was taking too long to get off, he just thought, okay, fine, well, if you're not going to punch first, I will. Whereas with this, it's much more difficult. The hunter has turned into the hunted, hasn't he, really? That's the difference, I think.
Well, he's certainly much more elusive, Ghena, which means he's making it difficult for Broughton to actually score any shots. Oh, terrific 1-2. Big right hand gets through. Crowd absolutely loved that. And Broughton just forced on the back foot. By design, left hook to the body gets in from Ghena too. This might well be his best sustained period of the fight.
I think this is his best round. He took his feet in there, didn't he? Set them, let that right hand go, and then as soon as it landed, he moved.
Again getting through with shots. Another right hand from Ghena. Just suddenly discovering his mojo, and there was a swaggering look at Mykey Lee Broughton as he made his way back to the corner. That might just have stirred the hornet's nest.
Indeed, I mean, through 8 rounds, I would say it's more likely 5-3 Broughton. That would probably be my read on it. But as you said, a couple of close ones early on. If you reckon that he's won those last 2, then we could have 4-4. I still feel like Broughton has got his nose ahead here, but the gap has narrowed, and that was a good round for Ghena, no question.
And you never know, boxing's such a psychological thing. But the way the last title challenge unfolded late on from Mykey Lee Broughton, whether there are any demons there that need to be addressed or could be stirred back from memory into action, into existence. We shall see. A couple of nice left hands. One was a uppercut come up jab and then a left hook from Ghena. Makes a good start to this 9th round.
And again now he's gone back to the style he started the fight with, where he's on that front foot and he's looking to take that space. But the difference now, as he's letting his hands go, Broughton on the back foot though comes back with a decent left.
Looking for the big shot again there, Ghena. He is a lot busier, a great deal busier.
Which is exactly what he wasn't in the first half.
And he's throwing the right hand with abandon here. Again, he just missed with it there, but he's getting closer.
That was a decent combination there from Broughton. Ghena was closing in, he just set his feet, let his hands go. That made him just back off, reset, go again, and he's got to up his own work rate here, Broughton. The closing stages of this fight, I think.
Again, looking for the right hand. Again, not quite managing to time it, Ghena, but he did land the shot. I think Ghena's feet are just much better in the second half of the fight. I think defensively that's making him more alert.
Maybe you went into this with the feeling that he would be able to just walk Broughton down and break him, and he realised that wasn't going to happen.
I think you might be right, Andy, and he just had to change the play and be a bit more switched on, a bit more alert. I don't think that, I think he stood on his foot. Pretty sure he stood on his foot. Bob Williams, just to confirm, ruling that a slip, no knockdown. Just another little late drama for the crowd to feed off. Maybe Ghena too. Chopping right hand from Ghena, probably just having the better of this one too.
He's the busier, isn't he?
And he's hunting with the right hand, Ghena. He lands it on the left cheek of Mykey Broughton, who is under serious pressure now.
He's come on strong the last few rounds here, Ghena, which he absolutely had to do, and this is set up nicely for the 10th and final round, but Mykey Broughton has got to do something here. He's got to do something here because the momentum is against him. He's got to try and dig it out any way he can in this final 3 minutes, because Ghena has got the wind in his sails big time here.
Bob Williams picking up the score sheets round by round. I just saw him have a little look there. Little glance down. He might have a sense of where this is heading, the direction so far. Still in the hands of both fighters with the final round upon us. Could be a squeaker. If Ghena wins this, could be an absolute squeaker.
10
It could be, I would say personally, I don't see how we can have anything outside of 5-4 either way. I don't see how
seconds out.
you could have it any wider than that to either of
And
them.
final round.
Three minutes then. Maybe this 3 minutes to decide it. Ghena on a bit of a roll. Was it too little, too late, or just in the nick of time? And of course a knockdown for either fighter, well, that may just decide it.
But Ghena again, he's on the front foot, isn't he? Just gathering his feet, just looking to let his hands go. And Broughton cannot be reactive in this round. He's got to be proactive. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to try and take the fight away from him, just shift the momentum, because it's drifted away from him, the fight in the second half, particularly in the last 2 or 3 rounds.
And he was, for just about the first time, happy to hold on there. The crowd really getting into this, particularly the Ghena fans. And he is all in here, Ghena. Lovely right hand. Just misses again. You can see Broughton covering up, trying everything, happy to hold on, buy himself some time. And Ghena fighting like a champion who knows that his crown may yet be slipping.
Ghena's fighting like a man who knows that he has to go out and win this final round, isn't he? And Broughton's not quite doing the same thing.
He's not been allowed to, in fairness. Ghena really has gone after him in the last 3 rounds. He needed to.
But he's just going to dig really, really deep here, Broughton, and just pour everything out. Everything he's got.
He's on his feet, isn't he, Broughton? A minute to go. Again, Ghena just missing with the right hand.
But he's winning this final round again, Ghena, isn't he?
Nice left hook to the body from Ghena. So far the body has held up for Mykey Broughton. One of the questions perhaps coming into this one.
That's a decent body shot there from Broughton.
Yeah, lovely right hand to the body himself. Just buying himself a little bit of respite from what's been a torrid closing stretch to this fight. Oh, big right hand gets through from Ghena, and he backs off Broughton. The time is running out, clicking down. Again, another big right hand from Ghena, who goes after Broughton right to the very end.
And Broughton just trying to get it back here. Great finish.
Yeah, meeting fire with fire. A warm embrace. A typical reaction from 2 fighters who've shared 10 stirring rounds together. Captivating stuff. The fight moved one way and another, sometimes within rounds, but certainly start to finish. And no one narrative. And that closing stretch, where certainly the 8th and 9th and 10th rounds seemingly won by the champion, to make it interesting, Andy.
It certainly does. I've got a draw. I had it 5-3, Broughton through 8. And he's won those last 2 rounds, Ghena, so I've got a draw. Ghena's finished the fight the stronger. But it's 10 individual 3-minute fights you're judging. That's what this is.
It is. I think if you've got it that close, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those early rounds went the way of Ghena, just to squeak it his way. I'm not saying that's my view, but I could say I can.
Yeah, it's very
sense that.
possible. It's very possible that, because I think he's won 4 of the last 5 there, hasn't he, Ghena, I would say, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. So you've got to have Broughton 4-1 up at halfway to get the draw that I've got. I was scoring it in my head, I haven't got it written down in front of me, but I did feel like he had a good lead at halfway.
I was the same as you, Andy. I had a 4-1 after 5, so I'm kind of reading it the same as you, but I can see why one of those first 6 rounds actually went the other way. But we'll see. Again, it's thankfully not up to us. And what made it more difficult was that there was so many of those early rounds that it was nip and tuck. There was a bit of there was sway, wasn't there?
It was to an extent, but I just felt in most of them, Ghena, as I said, he had that latent threat. He looked like he was on the brink of making a major move at any given second, but it didn't happen. And you see fights like this, whilst that isn't happening, the other one's busier and they're winning the round. So anyway, here we go.
Gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored about 96-94, and your winner by unanimous decision, and still the English Super Lightweight Champion and WBO European Super Lightweight Champion, Yaser!
It was a squeaker. It was a squeaker. And Ghena's surged down the stretch enough to turn it his way. Mykey Broughton and his team might well feel that's one that got away. He boxed out of his skin tonight. I'm not sure he could have done much more, in truth. He can look himself in the eye tonight, and again in the mirror first thing in the morning, and be proud of his performance, because I don't think he could have done any more, Andy, in truth.
No,
cracking fight.
I make you absolutely right, and as I was saying, I had a draw, but you said it yourself. If one of those rounds that I would have given Broughton in the first half of the fight, and there were tight ones, if you give one the other way, then you get 6-4 to Ghena, and that's exactly what we got. And all 3 judges saw it the same, so I wouldn't argue strenuously with that at all. It was a close fight. It was a good fight. Broughton may have some regrets about how the second half went, but we don't know how he was feeling. It might have taken a titanic effort for him in the last 2 or 3 to keep his shape and stay concentrated and get through to the end the way that he did. You can never quite know where a fighter is mentally and physically. I just wondered if towards the end he could have just gone for broke a little bit more to try and just arrest that momentum and not kind of rely on having built up that lead in the first half. But these are easy things to say from here, but it was a good fight. It was a really good fight, and he did himself a lot of credit. And Ghena, he had to switch styles, didn't he? It wasn't really working, and then all of a sudden he started to move more, pot shot a bit from the outside, started to land a bit doing that, and then towards the end he went back to plan A, which was more route 1, and that's impressive. It's impressive to see somebody able to do that mid-fight, because not everybody can.
Well, we talked about it earlier, didn't we? Finding another way. We talked about Usyk, the master at finding a way, and he managed to find a way. A little bit of soul searching over in that other corner. Anthony Manning consoling Mykey Broughton. They seem to be taking it pretty well, but he has given absolutely everything tonight. He's boxed so well, and he's only just come up short. And in truth, on another night, that 96-94, let's be honest about it, folks, that would have gone his way. On another night, same or different judges, that might have been his. That's how close it was, how competitive it was, and maybe they'll run at it again further down the line. But the winner will push on. The winner is with Ali.
Yaser, still the English champion and the new WBO European champion. It didn't all go your own way in there tonight, but how happy are you to have those belts?
First of all, I want to say alhamdulillah. I want to thank God. Without God, it wouldn't be possible. I want to thank my team. I want to thank my coach Andy, helping me through training camp. My team in that involved. Everyone that's come out today. You know, I had to, it wasn't my best performance today, but you know, I had to dig deep. Mykey is a credible opponent. He pushed me today and hats off to him, but you know, I got my belts, you know, next year is going to be a big year for me.
Just talk us through the fight. It's sort of a fight of two halves. It seemed like you had to adapt what you were doing into the second half to make sure you won those later rounds.
Yeah, you know, he was better than I thought he was. You know, I had to adjust a few times. You know, he had a good jab, and I had to pick my shots. But, you know, but listen, not every day is going to be an easy night for you, you know, it's boxing. Sometimes you have to dig deep, and today I had to dig deep. And I had to push the last round. You know, last round I hurt him, but, you know, I just couldn't get the finish.
Bringing proud coach here. How proud are you to see the levels he had to go to get the win there?
He's worked really hard through camp. We had to make adjustments tonight. It didn't go to plan, but that's part of what we have to do. We have to adjust, you know, and he come through.
Now you've got those belts. This fight was also an eliminator for the British as well. Presumably that's what you've got your eye on next. You're wanting those bigger fights, those bigger titles.
Listen, my job is just to train. You know, it's down to Johnny. Johnny is the one that's put me in this position. Thank you to Johnny. And I know he's got a good path for me next year, and I'll be ready. You know, I just have to, you know, get back in the gym, work, do a few adjustments, and listen, it's boxing. There's never stop time for learning. You know, it's always good for adjustments. I'm critical of my performance. I know I won today, but I know I could have done it easier. But you know, my job is to get back in the gym, make adjustments, and correct my mistakes today, and make the fight easier next time.
How grateful are you to the fans who came out and were loud through every second of that 10-round fight?
Sorry, I'm listen.
The crowd, how grateful were you to them?
Yeah,
they were loud through every second of that fight.
Listen, these are my backbone, these people are my energy. You know, this is the people that dug me in the last round, and I know I had to push, you know, I had to make them proud, and I had to leave in the ring today. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you to Johnny, thank you to DAZN, thank you Top Tier. You know, great show as usual. And I'll be back next year, inshallah.
Fantastic performance, well done.
Thank you.
And the new and still